Paradise can transform into a morgue in the blink of an eye. The gentle waves of the Bahamas still crash against pristine shores where Monique Morrison took her final breath, murdered by the one person who vowed to love her until death. But neither of them expected death to come so soon, or at the hands of new love. What turns a dream honeymoon into a bloody crime scene? A question that haunted investigators as they walked through the luxurious villa where champagne glasses still stood, half empty beside a body growing cold on imported marble floors. The ultimate betrayal executed in what should have been the safest place in the company of a new husband. Have you ever wondered if the person sleeping beside you is hiding deadly secrets? The truth is, most victims never see the danger until it is too late. They dismiss the late-night phone calls. They ignore the unexplained absences. They rationalize the inconsistent stories because love blinds us to what we cannot bear to see. When trust becomes a weapon and paradise becomes a grave, the warning signs become clear, only in hindsight. For Monique Morrison, a community organizer with a passion for helping others, her keen instincts detected something wrong, but not soon enough to save her life. Her husband Andre, a respected financial consultant, had woven a complex web of deception that would ultimately lead to violence beneath swaying palm trees. Could you spot the warning signs that Monique Morrison missed? As we follow this tragic journey from Jamaica to the Bahamas, from wedding celebration to murder investigation, you will witness crucial moments where different choices might have changed everything. Before we continue this chilling true crime story, take a moment to subscribe to Criminal Mind Cortex. Each case we examine could give you the knowledge to protect yourself or someone you love. Hit that subscribe button now. It might be the most important click you make today. Kingston, Jamaica embodied resilience and vibrancy, qualities that both Andre and Monique Morrison carried in their blood. Born into working-class families, they grew up mere kilometers apart, yet never crossed paths until fate intervened during the annual Summer Splash Festival 4 years before their deaths. Monique stood near the reggae stage that evening, swaying to the rhythm, when Andre approached with a confidence that both annoyed and intrigued her. "That beat speaks to your soul," he observed, noticing how she moved differently from others in the crowd, with intention and awareness. Their conversation lasted until sunrise, revealing surprising connections and shared dreams, despite different approaches to life. "My community raised me," Monique often explained when describing her career choice. As a community organizer for underprivileged neighborhoods in Eastern Kingston, she dedicated herself to creating pathways out of poverty. Her colleagues described her as fiercely practical, yet endlessly optimistic. At 32, she had established 3 successful youth programs and earned respect from government officials and street corners alike. Andre moved through different circles. His financial consulting firm catered to emerging businesses and individuals climbing social ladders. Charming and calculated, he built his reputation on delivering results, sometimes through methods that skirted ethical boundaries. Friends noticed his obsession with appearances, designer clothes, luxury accessories and connections to influential people. "I plan to leave poverty so far behind, but it cannot catch my children," he once declared at a family gathering. This drive impressed many, including Monique, who admired ambition when channeled toward meaningful outcomes. Their relationship blossomed across 2 years of dating, followed by a modest but elegant wedding ceremony, attended by 300 guests. The honeymoon represented their first major indulgence, 1 week at an exclusive Bahamian resort that cost more than 4 months of their combined salaries. "Just this once," Andre insisted when Monique questioned the expense. "We deserve to begin our marriage in paradise." Neither could have predicted that paradise would become the backdrop for betrayal, violence, and death, turning their love story into a cautionary tale that would shock 2 nations. The calendar marked 6 weeks before their wedding when Monique first noticed changes in Andre. Small shifts in behavior that seemed insignificant in isolation began forming a disturbing pattern. His phone, once casually left on tables or counters, now remained in his possession constantly. When it rang at odd hours, he would step onto the balcony, speaking in hushed tones. "Work stress," he explained when Monique questioned these midnight conversations. "A major client from overseas operates on different time zones." As their wedding day approached, these explanations multiplied while making less sense. Andre began disappearing for hours without clear destinations. He would claim to attend business meetings, yet return with no new contracts or client details to discuss. His formerly transparent financial habits became guarded, with bank statements suddenly delivered electronically rather than by mail. "Have you noticed how Andre seems different lately?" Monique asked her cousin Dion during a dress fitting. "Yesterday he cancelled our dinner plans because of an emergency meeting, but when I called his office, his assistant said he had left at noon." Dion shrugged it off. "Pre-wedding jitters make people act strange. All men panic before marriage." But Monique's instincts, the same ones that helped her navigate complex community disputes, signaled deeper problems. 2 weeks before the wedding, while searching for a misplaced invoice in Andre's home office, she discovered a jewelry receipt for an expensive bracelet she had never received. The purchase date coincided with one of his unexplained absences. That same afternoon, a text message notification flashed on his temporarily unattended phone. Though she had never invaded his privacy before, something compelled her to look. The message, from someone named Lavinia, read, "Arrangements confirmed for next week. Remember your promise." When confronted, Andre dismissed the jewelry as a surprise wedding gift and claimed Lavinia was a new corporate client. His explanations came too quickly, too rehearsed. Yet with wedding preparations consuming their lives, Monique reluctantly accepted his words while privately documenting these inconsistencies. The morning of their departure to the Bahamas, Monique discovered additional troubling items while packing: a handwritten note with account numbers she did not recognize, and a business card for an insurance broker they had never discussed consulting. "Everything in your relationship deserves scrutiny," her grandmother had once warned. "Love with open eyes, not just an open heart." Have you ever ignored your intuition about someone close to you? Like Monique, many victims of betrayal report recognizing warning signs but dismissing them due to trust, love, or social pressure. Before continuing this tragic story, take a moment to subscribe to Criminal Mind Cortex for weekly investigations that sharpen your awareness of dangerous relationship patterns. The Paradise Cove Resort stood on the northeastern shore of Nassau, away from crowded tourist districts. Marketing brochures described it as exclusive sanctuary for discerning travelers, with private villas nestled among palm groves and fragrant flowering plants. Each villa featured floor-to-ceiling windows facing the ocean, private plunge pools, and dedicated staff. Andre and Monique arrived on a Tuesday afternoon, greeted with cool towels and rum cocktails. "Welcome to your honeymoon haven," the manager announced, escorting them to Villa 17. The most isolated accommodation, situated on a rocky peninsula, with 180-degree ocean views. "This exceeds everything I imagined," Monique whispered, as they entered the spacious living area, adorned with local artwork and fresh flowers. The bedroom opened onto a private deck, where the boundary between infinity pool and ocean horizon blurred into endless blue. What the glossy brochures failed to mention was how the resort existed as an artificial bubble, deliberately separated from local reality. Beyond its manicured grounds, Nassau struggled with rising crime rates and economic disparity. The police force, underfunded and overwhelmed, concentrated resources on tourist areas, while local neighborhoods received minimal protection. "Please remain within resort boundaries after dark," their orientation packet advised in small print. "While excursions are available, we recommend official resort transportation for all activities." Few guests questioned these subtle warnings. They came for escape, not engagement with complicated realities. The Morrisons, like most honeymooners, initially embraced this protective cocoon, spending their first 2 days moving between their villa, private beach, and exclusive restaurants. Resort staff maintained professional distance while attending to guest needs. This carefully choreographed environment created an unusual dynamic: complete privacy coupled with constant yet unobtrusive surveillance. Security cameras monitored common areas while guest movements were tracked through electronic keycards and meal reservations. For Monique, the isolation that initially felt romantic gradually transformed into vulnerability. Cell service proved spotty, with calls to Jamaica dropping frequently. The nearest neighboring villa stood 400 meters away, separated by dense vegetation designed for privacy. Even shouted pleas for help would likely go unheard beneath the constant soundtrack of crashing waves. "Everyone here seems to mind their own business," Andre remarked approvingly on their third night. Monique nodded agreement, not yet recognizing how perfect this setting would become for confrontation without witnesses or immediate assistance. The tropical paradise designed for romance created ideal conditions for something much darker to unfold. Their fourth day in the Bahamas began with breakfast on their private terrace. Andre seemed distracted, checking his phone repeatedly between bites of tropical fruit and pastries. "I need to handle a quick business email," he announced, kissing Monique on the forehead before retreating inside. "Meet you at the beach in an hour." Alone with her thoughts, Monique gazed at the ocean. The serenity of the moment shattered when her phone vibrated with a message from an unknown number. "Your husband is not who you think. He plans to collect on your life. Check his computer. Password, Lavinia 2023. This is not a joke." Her hands trembled as she read the text 3 times. Logic suggested dismissing it as a cruel prank, yet the mention of Lavinia, that mysterious name from before their wedding, sent ice through her veins. The specific password suggestion indicated something beyond random malice. For 20 minutes Monique remained frozen, weighing trust against mounting evidence of deception. When Andre called out that he was heading to the beach without her, claiming she needed rest, opportunity presented itself. His laptop sat open on the dining table, screen dimmed but not locked. Heart pounding, she pressed a key to reactivate the display. A password prompt appeared. With shaking fingers, she typed Lavinia 2023 and pressed enter, expecting rejection. The screen unlocked immediately. "Oh my God," she whispered as the desktop appeared, revealing dozens of folders with clinical labels, insurance, offshore accounts, communications, marriage documentation. She clicked the insurance folder first. Inside lay digital copies of a policy naming her as the insured party, with a death benefit of $2 million, dated 3 weeks before their wedding. Andre stood as sole beneficiary. Additional documents showed he had paid the premium in full, using an account she never knew existed. The communications folder contained hundreds of emails between Andre and Lavinia Edwards, dating back 18 months long before he proposed marriage. Their exchanges revealed a calculated partnership. Target acquired. Moving to engagement phase, Andre wrote 4 months before proposing. "Remember, the policy must be active minimum 30 days before collection becomes viable," Lavinia responded. "The Bahamas location works perfectly for our purposes. Accidents happen there regularly without excessive investigation." Each message destroyed another piece of Monique's reality. The man she married had selected her as a victim, not a wife. Their entire relationship existed as an elaborate setup for insurance fraud, culminating in her planned accidental death during their honeymoon. The folder, labeled marriage documentation, contained background research on her family, career achievements, and financial status, essentially a target profile disguised as courtship notes. What would you do if you discovered your partner had methodically plotted your murder? Take a moment to consider this question while I continue revealing how Monique's nightmare unfolded. If this story helps you recognize warning signs in your own relationships, please like this video and subscribe to Criminal Mind Cortex for more potentially life-saving insights. Sunset painted the sky crimson as Andre returned to the villa. Monique had spent hours documenting evidence, forwarding key files to her personal email as insurance against whatever might happen next. The weight of betrayal transformed her shock into cold resolve. She sat motionless in the living room, the brass candlestick from her grandmother, their wedding gift, resting beside her on the coffee table. The meaningful heirloom now represented the only connection to her real life, a life built on genuine foundations, unlike the fabrication surrounding her. "You look serious," Andre commented, dropping his beach bag. "Everything all right? When did you decide I should die?" Monique asked, her voice eerily calm. The color drained from his face. "What are you talking about?" "Lavinia sends her regards," Monique replied, turning the laptop screen toward him. "Your password was predictable, just like your plan to collect $2 million when I have an unfortunate accident this week." Andre lunged for the computer. "You invaded my privacy." "Privacy?" She stood, trembling with fury. "You invaded my life, created a relationship as cover for murder. Every kiss, every promise, all preparation for this place, where accidents happen without investigation. His expression transformed, calculation replacing panic. Monique, you misunderstood. Those emails.
Stop lying! She hurled her water glass against the wall. 18 months of correspondence about your target. Background checks on my family. Payment confirmations for my death benefit policy.
Andre switched tactics. Lavinia manipulated me. I got involved in something dark but never planned to go through with it. He reached for her hands. I fell in love with you for real. That changed everything. Yet here we are, in the Bahamas, exactly where you planned my accident. Monique stepped backward. The villa with no neighbors. The cliffside location. The schedule that leaves me alone with you for hours without witnesses.
His expression hardened. Nobody would question a tragic honeymoon accident.
The admission hung between them like poison gas. Andre moved toward her, no longer pretending.
You cannot leave this villa knowing what you know.
Monique grabbed the brass candlestick as he lunged. The first swing missed as he ducked, laughing at her attempt. The second connected with his shoulder, eliciting a howl of pain. They grappled across the room, knocking over furniture. His superior strength gradually overpowered her. You should have remained ignorant, he hissed, wresting the candlestick from her grip. The heavy brass connected with her temple in one vicious arc. Blood sprayed across white linen furniture as Monique collapsed, eyes wide with final comprehension. Andre stood frozen, candlestick dripping red onto imported marble floors. The abstract planning had become concrete reality. Theory had transformed into corpse. Time slowed as Andre stared at his blood-covered hands. The fantasy of calculated murder collided with its gruesome reality. He had practiced this moment mentally. The aftermath, the acting, the perfect cover story, but nothing prepared him for actual death in his presence. Focus, he whispered to himself. Transform murder into accident. Working methodically through his shock, Andre began rearranging the villa. He dragged Monique toward the bathroom, leaving a deliberate trail suggesting she had stumbled while intoxicated. He placed empty wine bottles strategically near the bathtub, then partially filled it with water. The narrative would portray a tragic slip during tipsy bathing preparation. The blood presented his greatest challenge. Using hotel towels, he attempted to clean visible spatter from walls and furniture. The brass candlestick received careful attention, wiped clean of fingerprints before being positioned as if it had fallen from a decorative shelf during Monique's supposed stumble. Room service, a voice called, accompanied by gentle knocking. Andre froze. He had forgotten cancelling their scheduled dinner delivery. No thank you, he called, voice cracking. My wife is not feeling well. We will order later. Josephine Williams had worked at Paradise Cove Resort for 17 years. Guest behavior patterns became second nature to her experienced eye. Something about Mr. Morrison's voice triggered her professional instincts, a tremor that signaled more than minor inconvenience. I have fresh towels as well, she persisted. Protocol requiring visual confirmation when guests declined scheduled services. When Andre cracked open the door, Josephine noted several disturbing details. Perspiration streaming down his face despite cool air conditioning, red-tinged water stains on his sleeve, and eyes darting nervously behind her. Where is Mrs. Morrison? She inquired casually. Sleeping. Migraine, Andre responded curtly, blocking the doorway. Josephine nodded pleasantly, while mentally cataloguing the inconsistencies. Moments after leaving Villa 17, she contacted her supervisor, who alerted resort security. Within 40 minutes, Paradise Cove's head of security arrived with 2 officers from Royal Bahamas Police Force for a routine welfare check, standard procedure for honeymooning couples when concerns arose. Their arrival interrupted Andre's meticulous staging efforts. The bathtub remained half-filled, towels soaked with evidence lay poorly hidden in the garden outside, and most damning, Monique's body showed clear trauma inconsistent with falling accidents. When confronted with these contradictions, Andre's composed facade crumbled entirely.
Have you ever wondered how often murderers actually get away with their crimes? The answer might surprise you. Like this video, and comment below with what evidence detail you think proved most crucial in exposing Andre's cover-up attempt. Subscribe to Criminal Mind Cortex for more cases where tiny details made the difference between justice and injustice.
Inspector Leonard Roberts arrived at Villa 17 as dawn broke over the Bahamas. With 20 years of experience investigating homicides, he recognized calculated murder within moments of viewing the scene. "This is no accident," he told his forensic team, as they photographed blood spatter patterns, inconsistent with falling. "Document everything." The killer attempted to create a narrative. "Our job is to expose the truth." The investigation divided into 3 simultaneous tracks: physical evidence collection, digital forensics, and witness interviews. Each revealed damning information against Andre Morrison. Physical evidence told a clear story of struggle. Blood distribution indicated Monique had been standing when first struck, not falling into a bathtub as Andre claimed. Furniture positioned to suggest stumbling showed drag marks beneath carpet edges. Most crucially, the brass candlestick retained microscopic skin fragments from Andre despite his cleaning attempts. "Killers always underestimate forensic science," Roberts explained to his team. "Blood reveals truths even bleach cannot hide." Digital evidence proved even more devastating. While Andre had attempted to delete incriminating files, he lacked technical expertise to completely remove them. Computer specialists recovered hundreds of communications with Lavinia Edwards, including detailed murder plans and insurance fraud documentation. "We found step-by-step instructions for creating an accidental drowning scenario in the Bahamas," technology analyst Michael Chen reported, complete with guidance on handling police questioning afterward. Witness testimony completed the case against Andre. Resort staff described his erratic behavior following the murder. Josephine Williams provided crucial timeline evidence contradicting his alibi claims. 2 guests from nearby villas reported hearing a woman screaming about betrayal, approximately 30 minutes before estimated time of death. The investigation expanded beyond murder into complex financial fraud. Banking records revealed offshore accounts connected to both Andre and Lavinia Edwards, containing hundreds of thousands of dollars from previous insurance schemes. This was not his first attempt, Roberts informed Jamaican authorities. "We identified 3 prior insurance policies on different women he dated briefly. None proceeded to marriage or murder, but the pattern clearly established intent." Within 72 hours, Interpol issued an international alert for Lavinia Edwards, who had vanished from her Kingston residence immediately following Monique's murder. Digital communications suggested she orchestrated multiple similar schemes across the Caribbean, using charming men as executioners, while she handled financial arrangements. As evidence mounted, Andre Morrison abandoned all pretense of innocence. His confession, recorded on day 4 of detention, detailed how romantic pursuit transformed into cold-blooded murder when his victim discovered the truth. The Commonwealth of the Bahamas versus Andre Morrison began 6 months after Monique's murder. International media descended upon Nassau Courthouse, broadcasting daily proceedings to audiences across the Caribbean and beyond. Prosecutors presented overwhelming evidence: forensic analysis of blood patterns, digital records of premeditation, financial documents proving fraud, and testimony from 27 witnesses, including resort staff and financial experts. Andre's public defender attempted an insanity defense, claiming Lavinia Edwards had psychologically manipulated him into murder, a strategy quickly dismantled when prosecutors revealed his active participation in planning over 18 months. The defendant meticulously selected his victim, courted her, married her, and brought her to an isolated location specifically to end her life for financial gain, lead prosecutor James Hamilton stated in closing arguments. This represents the coldest form of premeditated murder. After just 4 hours of deliberation, the jury returned with a unanimous guilty verdict. The judge sentenced Andre Morrison to life imprisonment without possibility of parole, the maximum penalty under Bahamian law. Beyond the courtroom, ripple effects spread through multiple communities. The Bahamian tourism industry faced immediate backlash as international travelers cancelled reservations, citing safety concerns. Paradise Cove Resort eventually rebranded completely, demolishing Villa 17 and constructing a memorial garden dedicated to victims of domestic violence. One murder can devastate an entire economy dependent on visitor perception of safety. Tourism Minister Helena Garcia acknowledged during a press conference announcing enhanced security measures across all island accommodations. In Jamaica, mourners filled Kingston streets during Monique's funeral procession. Community organizations she founded established scholarships in her name, focusing on educating young women about financial independence and relationship safety. Her murder sparked uncomfortable national conversations about changing cultural values. Religious leaders and family counselors pointed to the case as evidence that material ambition had begun displacing traditional emphasis on character and community connection. When acquiring wealth becomes more important than building integrity, we create perfect conditions for predators, noted Pastor Joseph Brown during a televised memorial service. Monique died because someone valued money above humanity, a warning our entire society must heed. 3 years after Monique Morrison drew her final breath in that Bahamian villa, her case continues educating people worldwide about relationship danger signs. Behavioral experts now use this tragedy in training programs, highlighting 5 critical warning indicators that appeared before her murder. First, unexplained financial changes. Andre suddenly privatized previously transparent money matters, creating accounts Monique never knew existed. Second, communication patterns shifted dramatically, with secretive phone calls and defensive responses to reasonable questions. Third, unexplained absences increased as the wedding approached. Fourth, inconsistent explanations accumulated without logical connections. Finally, isolation tactics emerged during their honeymoon, keeping Monique away from potential witnesses or assistants. The Morrison case demonstrates how predators build relationships specifically for exploitation, explains criminal psychologist Dr. Emily Watkins. They create artificial connections while methodically planning betrayal. International authorities continue searching for Lavinia Edwards, believed responsible for orchestrating multiple similar schemes throughout the Caribbean. Evidence suggests she targeted ambitious men with financial difficulties, grooming them to become accomplices in elaborate fraud operations that sometimes escalated to murder. The investigation expanded beyond the Bahamas, identifying potential victims across Jamaica, Trinidad, and Barbados, who narrowly escaped similar fates. Their stories revealed consistent patterns: romantic whirlwind relationships, followed by pressure to purchase excessive life insurance. Justice for Monique extends beyond her murderer's imprisonment. Her community organization established relationship violence prevention programs, now mandatory in Jamaican secondary schools. The curriculum emphasizes financial independence and recognizing manipulation tactics. Before concluding this tragic account, please subscribe to Criminal Mind Cortex for weekly investigations that could potentially save lives. Next episode examines how another victim recognized similar warning signs in time to escape, proving awareness truly creates protection. Paradise locations continue attracting both genuine romance and dangerous deception. The crucial difference lies in our willingness to acknowledge warning signs before they evolve into threats. Trust remains essential for meaningful relationships, but as Monique Morrison discovered too late, verification sometimes determines survival.